What's good, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, as always, on this Monday evening, Monday night, late night. Back on the ones and twos. We got Jose, Ron, John in the building. Let's go, baby.
There we go. There we go.
There you go.
We're in here.
What's going on, John? How you feeling, brother?
I'm good. Another great week. Another good week of basketball. Another great week, in general. We living, we here, baseball's back. That's always good.
Let's go.
Looking forward to that.
On them, baby. Let's go, Mets. Oh, sorry. My fault. My bad.
I see you.
Wait, it's my fault. I'm sorry. Because the Mets got the back page right now. I know the Yankees is working on stuff, but right now, you know how it is.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm gonna let you live. Let y'all live. Y'all earned that this offseason. Y'all earned that.
Champions of April, baby. Champions of April.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. It's a good time right now as far as baseball being back, which is cool. The Knicks have been playing pretty well to begin the week. Tailed off a little bit towards the end, but we'll get into it. And other than that, I'm just happy that things are moving along. We're here, we're healthy, and
That's right.
Things are opening up a little bit. We'll see where it goes, man. So it's a good time right now.
Not to mention, I want to give a quick shout out to Stafford Don and our guy Soulfinger for having us on their show yesterday. It was yesterday. Jeez, time flies, man. It was yesterday. Yeah. I felt like that was a couple of days ago, but it was actually just yesterday.
Right.
We joined them on their NBA one-on-one for the Blorange Tears network. So shout outs to those guys, and shout outs to Uncle Freezy. Appreciate you as always. And we had a good time, man. Chopped it up with the fellas, man. It was a good combo.
Yeah, if you guys haven't checked them out as of yet, definitely go over to the Blorange Tears network. Like it, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But check out their content. It's pretty good, man. I can't lie, man. They got their own NBA show, and it's pretty damn good. And as John said, thank you for both of them having us on. It was a cool experience. We chopped it up. I think it was a good show. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. So what we got going on this week, man? What we gonna talk about?
We've got a couple things going on, but before we get to that, we should probably get into a word from our sponsor. What you think?
Yeah, always do that. That's yeah. I like that approach. Let's go there.
Yeah. Let's hear from the sponsor. Tonight's podcast is sponsored by Urban Cowboy, designed for the lived experience. Urban Cowboy clothing, uniquely designed for every urban trendsetter, both young and mature. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. Salute to Urban Cowboy clothing. Definitely check them out. Go show your love, man. Go show your love. They got some good stuff, so definitely go check it out.
Check out that summer gear.
Yep.
Check out that summer gear. It's out.
It's coming, man. The weather. I saw the next 10 days. Looks like we in the 50s in New York. So we trending. We trending in the right direction.
For real. Everybody's gonna be sunbathing out in the park.
Right. It is nice. It is nice though. I mean, it kind of stinks that we lost an hour, because we had to change the clocks. But I like more sunlight. That's cool. I'm with that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I like the sunlight. Yeah. I like the early mornings, get out there, and I like when you get home it isn't dark anymore.
Right.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it makes you want to live life a little bit.
we got the sun. We got the storm that came through this past weekend. So I got hit with snow where I'm at because I'm further up in the city. And by the time I got home today, everything was melted. I was like, yes.
That's
so
great.
It was perfect.
That's a fantastic feeling.
It was awesome.
Yeah, man. So without further ado, I think we should kick it off where you wanted to kick it off last week with the risers and the fallers, huh?
You right about that. Who do we got today? Who we talking about?
This week's risers and fallers. This is very controversial, guys. I got to tell you. I mean, listen, the polls were up. The people were fighting. I got the NBA breathing down my neck, the Knicks organization, like, who you going to pick? And I'm like, listen, John and I are going to put it together. We're going to shuffle it up. We're going to come out with the right choices for you guys. So this week's risers and fallers consist of two gentlemen on this Knick organization that I don't think you're going to be surprised with who the riser is. Maybe a little bit because he gets so much flack. The faller is going to throw you for a loop, guys. What should we hit first, John? Which one should we go with first?
Let's do it. Let's go with risers, man. Let's do it in order.
All right. This week's riser none other than Mr. Julius Randle. Hey man, listen. Say what you will about Julius. He's had some inconsistency throughout the season, but this past week was a pretty damn good week for this man.
Sure was.
And even in the game, we'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to it. But even in the game with the Memphis Grizzlies, where we didn't win that game, he did really good down the stretch. He tried to do whatever he could to get us to win the game. We couldn't close it out, but he definitely was playing really good basketball. So I can't be mad at him for that.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's down. He's definitely in the stretch of games where he's feeling comfortable within the offense, and he's playing his best on defensive side. We're always going to get those mental lapses from Randall, but that's just a part of who he is. If you don't know him by now, you got to take the good with the bad. Exactly. We've had him here for 3 years. I think that's basically who he is. And don't expect the zebra to change his stripes. So that's what we're going to see.
There you go. But yeah, man, he definitely had some memorable games. He played pretty damn consistent. He also had, against the Sacramento Kings, he had a 46-point game. Man, he was gunning. He was gunning, and it was going in. I think he had 8 threes in that game. So yeah,
it reminded you a lot of what he did last season in clutch moments against the Sacramento Kings. But again, against good teams, man, you're going to run into a different scheme. Especially defensively, other teams are going to bring different schemes in his direction, and he's just going to have to learn to adapt. But hopefully, it isn't just left on him. I would like to see it left on RJ's shoulder as well. Actually, I would prefer it to be on RJ's shoulder first. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, salute to Mr. Julius Randle for being the riser this week.
Hey, yeah, he ain't getting much love these days. But we gotta show him a little bit.
Gotta show. You got to listen when it's warranted. Listen, we can't. We real fans, man. We got to salute you when you're doing the right thing. It is what it is.
That's right.
Hey. Now, on the flip side, this one's rough, dude. This one's rough. It was tough for me to look at this and see what we had here. I don't know, man. But when you think about how the games turned out, think about the overall shooting performances, think about what happened down the stretch in this past couple games, especially in the losses. I think you guys will agree that this person is a faller this week. It's just 1 week. So this week coming up, he could be a star once again.
Right.
That's none other than Mr. R.J. Barrett.
Yeah, I was afraid we were going to do that.
Yeah. Listen, man. RJ had some tough performances this week. Even though we were able to win 2 of these games, even in those games, he wasn't necessarily the greatest, but he did okay, and definitely in one of the games. Yeah, but in the other 2 that we lost, he was very inefficient. And down the stretch, especially in that Brooklyn Net game, some people are pointing to him for the reason why we lost that game, because a couple decisions he made not necessarily made a lot of sense. So you gotta listen, you gotta call a spade. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey, you gotta take the good, you take the bad, take them both. There you have the facts of life.
The facts of life. That's a fact.
Hey, we grew up on that. That's what it is.
You guys, listen. We in a weird space. John pulled out a facts of life reference. You know what's going on. I love it. Yeah, man. So RJ had one of those moments where he's turned into kind of like a bit of a volume shooter, which I'm not mad at it because I like seeing him with the ball in his hands and being able to orchestrate. But, here's the flip side of it. One, if you're not hitting these shots and you're a volume shooter, then these are opportunities the Knicks are not scoring. Two, when you are a volume shooter, you've noticed that the issue with RJ is there's some points where some of the guys on the court, not all the time, but there's once in a blue where somebody's open, he doesn't pass it because he's trying to get a shot, So that's an issue. But I will say one thing I have noticed in the past 3 to 4 games. One game he was 4 for 7, but the other 3 games in this past week, he shot pretty good from the free throw line. So that's an improvement.
That's a great improvement, and I hope he keeps that up. Hopefully, he takes that into the off season, continues to work in the off season, and into the next season. Hitting at a better clip because we're going to need him to, especially if the ball's going to be in his hands as much as it is this second half of the season.
Right. Yeah, man. So once again, salute to Julius Randle for being a riser, and whatever the opposite of salute is for the faller and Mr. RJ Barrett.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. So sorry, RJ. You my man and all. 100 grand, BB.
You know how we roll. It's R and J.
Yeah,
you know how
man.
we roll.
Got to keep
with them.
Facts. So what I'm saying.
We with them.
Got to keep it real, man. That is what it is. Before we get into the first of this week's past games, salute to the chat: Angel Torres, D-Raz, Geraldine McIver, Keith Turner, Kaiser Soze. Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you jumping in. I know once again it's a busy time. There's a lot of Knick content on. We're always going up against each other, but that's okay because that's what you got the replay for. You can always rewatch it.
Right.
Yeah. So infamous new king in the building. I see you. So yeah, man, John. It started off lovely, bro. It started off. We had already won 2 games in a row. And then we go right into the Sacramento Kings game. And Julius Randle, man, he drops 46 points. He came out guns blazing. A Julius Randle we haven't seen in quite a long time, man. I think this might have been the most aggressive I've seen him this whole year when it comes to shooting the 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I've seen him be this aggressive.
Yeah. Shooting the 3, yes. But aggressive in play, when he plays Pacers, it's always like, it always seems weird because he's always stepping his game up against Sabonis when he's got that sort of his own little rivalry against Sabonis.
I'm telling you, I tell people this all the time. People, I don't know what it is, bro, but they love going up against each other. And even Sabonis, remember, Sabonis got thrown out of this game in the 4th quarter. He gets hot when he plays Julius. Right. I don't know what it is. They get mad at each other or it's nice.
And he started really good to start the game. Sabonis did. He was very efficient to start the first quarter. And then, the pressure got to him late. And he didn't get calls to go his way and cost him to get teed up.
Yep, that's very true. And in this game, guys, just in case if you don't know or if you wasn't able to watch the game, the Knicks won this game pretty convincingly in the end. It was a pretty close game for most of the game, and then they started to pull away late in the 3rd, going into the 4th. They wound up winning 131 to 115. It was a really good game for them. You had 29 points from RJ Barrett, who actually, this was, like I said, in this stretch of 4 games, this was the best game he had. He was 11 of 21 from the field. He had 29 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. And then Julius had 46 points and 10 rebounds. So this is one of those games where, the people who think that RJ and Julius can't play together, well, this was a different experience, and this actually worked out. Fournier had 15 in this one, and Emmanuel Quickly, which is another key reason why we won this game. You don't see this too often from Quick, along with this other scoring. He had 27. So when you get 29 from RJ, 46 from Julius, 15 from Evan, and 27 from Quickly, you got a really good chance of winning the basketball game.
Right, and they scored. What was their? This wasn't the high game, right? That was against that they had a 3rd quarter high Was that against the Sacramento Kings, or was that before the Sacramento Kings?
It might have been
Was that
before
the
the
Lakers?
Sacramento Kings. I
Clippers,
mm,
Clippers, Clippers, not
Clippers,
Lakers.
Clippers. There
It
you
was the
go,
Clippers. Yeah, I knew it was an
Clippers.
LA team.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they
like
they
momentum, man. They played well against the Clippers, and they brought that same energy against the Kings, and it seemed like we were going in the right direction. But again, this is a Knicks team that's been inconsistent all year, so you know you got to take the good and take the bad, So
right. Oh, and I apologize, guys. I had said the Knicks won 2 in a row prior to this. No, they had won the one game, the Clipper game, before
the
that
Clipper game,
Sacramento King
right?
game. Yeah. So
Right.
that got us to 2 in a row. And yeah, I mean, it was nothing really to else to say about this one. This was a good one. It turned out to be a laugher in the end, which is great for our New York Knicks. We don't this year. They haven't got too many of those, so
Right.
take them when you get them. Take them when you get
Yeah,
them.
man.
Yeah, and then that brings us into the second game of the week, and these were all like this is all even though Sacramento struggled this year, and they're not one of the better defensive teams. They did make a trade. They got Sabonis. They got some new life, and they've been playing pretty well in the past few weeks. So it still was a game that they had to watch. It could go either way. But then that brings you to the Dallas Mavericks, and Dallas has been playing some good basketball as of late, and
Right.
so this was a tough one, and I wasn't quite sure what was going to be the outcome of this one. Um, and surprisingly enough, Knicks carried over that blowout from Sacramento and blew out Dallas, which
Right.
I expected them to have a chance to win the game. I
Right.
thought maybe they would lose. I think I mentioned that they would lose. I
Hmm.
think you thought differently, and you were
Right.
right. But yeah, they wound up blowing Dallas out 107-77. And something weird happened in this game, guys. I want to give Knicks some credit for it, but I don't want to give them all the credit.
Hmm.
The Dallas Mavericks couldn't buy a basket from outside. In this game, they were 0 for 17 from 3 before they finally hit a 3-point shot. Now, don't get me wrong, Knicks defense was pretty good. It wasn't that good. So
Right.
we had a little help with this one. So
Yeah, they
it
missed a
was
lot of
nice
open
to see
shots for
though.
sure.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
also looked like it also looked like Brunson was a little, sort of banged up a little bit. He was still trying to come off that injury, and you know, you could always look at the game and see, maybe reasons for them not being so efficient. So.
Hmm.
But again, it's a good win. I agree. It's a good win. I'm not the biggest Doncic fan. I think he's
I
a
know.
really good player. I just think he's overhyped a bit. You know what I mean? And he's someone who you probably can't stop offensively because he has so many tools in his basket and his basket his artillery. But he's not someone who can flat out beat you. I just don't see it. Yeah, in my opinion, you can get him out of his game. You know, so.
Hmm.
And we did what we did. So we got the ball out of his
Yeah.
hands. We made other people try to beat us, and that was pretty much the game.
Yeah. And once again, for those who may not know, the final score was 107-77. So this was a true blowout, and this was a wire to wire blowout. The Knicks were doing their thing in this one.
Every quarter. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing that I
Was
was going to say to you about, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, was this like our largest winning streak? 3? Did we tie our largest winning streak for the year at 3? Because I don't think we've ever
No,
come. Did we have more than that before? Did
I,
we get a
I
4 game
think it
winning
was
streak?
I think it was 4 to start the
We maxed
season
out
because
4.
remember we were
Oh,
five
right,
and
right.
one to
4,
start the
5 and
season.
1. Right.
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten
So
many of those this year.
no, we have not. No, we have not. Yeah, this has been kind of tough. Yeah, the thing I was gonna say is Luca is very dangerous, man, because he was kind of favoring his right side, his right leg as well in this game, but then he turned it on towards the end. Uh,
Right.
it didn't matter because we were winning, and then we wound up stretching the lead. Uh, I think he's the thing about him is I think he is a very good NBA scorer. But this team itself, like when you look at the cast of characters, especially right now with the injuries that they've had, I mean Reggie
And they made a
Bullock,
couple
Finney
trades.
Smith, Dwight Powell, yeah, like Dinwiddie might help a little bit, but Dinwiddie's a little inconsistent. I've been watching him. I'm surprised. I don't know what happened, but he's a little inconsistent now. Like
Well, he doesn't
this
have the ball
team,
in
if
his
he has,
hands.
maybe that's it. Maybe
It's
that
Doncic.
could be it. Maybe it's a good
Yeah,
point.
Doncic is
Maybe that's what
playing
Dinwiddie
the
needs.
2-3, right? He's playing the 2-3, but leading because he's has the ball in his hands. So basically, he runs the offense, and he runs the offense off of a pick and roll where he's the first option. That's why, to me, he's very he's an elite scorer, but he's way too easy to figure out. If there ain't no one else within the scheme of the offense, you can beat the team. You
I
know what I mean?
agree.
So
I
I
agree.
don't, I don't, I don't get it. I don't see what the hype is about.
I think that Dallas needs to probably look to make a couple changes over there to surround them with some good players that are good at getting like quick baskets and
Other
stuff like
things,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Like he needs something like that because you're right. You're able to stop him. You can take him out the game.
Yeah.
Um,
He would be
and I
great
was just
with a
looking.
cat. He would be great, like if he had Cat on his squad and a Rubio, they would be magical because you have a big who you can just isolate down in the block, who can create his own shot. Unlike Porzingis, who likes to work from the outside, give a kid like
Right.
Cat the ball on the inside, work in and out, and then you have a Rubio who's a willing passer and could shoot the open three. That's the kind of players he needs around him in order to
That
be
actually makes
most
a lot of
effective.
sense. That makes a lot of sense, bro. I'm with you on that. That's a good call because that would
Yeah,
change. That
Jason
would
Kidd, if
definitely
you're
change
paying
their
attention,
offensive.
I'm free. Next
Right. Hey, listen,
time.
listen. You didn't get this for
I'm
nothing,
available.
man. Look,
Just give me a call.
he's available. He ain't free though. He's
Yeah,
available.
I'm available, not free.
Yeah. So I mean, in the end, it turned out to be a good game for our New York Knicks.
I
And
said
in
Jason
this
Cash. I said
game,
Mark Cuban. Sorry about that.
either way, however you can get the call, you just want to be in the room.
The shit. You know what I mean? Get
In
me on the
this
salary
game,
box.
right. And you know what? I'm not far behind you, bro. I mean,
You right
listen,
there.
John can run
Listen,
everything. I'll just be in the
we're a
room.
combo. We're a combo.
RJ had 18 in this game. Julius had 26.
Right.
But Julius had 26 on 8 of 19 from the field and 42% from three with 8 rebounds and 5 assists. So it was a pretty efficient game for him.
Christians. Yeah, stat
You know,
lines.
Mitch had double-double, 11-11. Fournier had 10.
That was the
Burks
key
had
to me.
15.
For me, that Mitch play was the key because I mean the other guys
I
did really
agree.
well, but I think Mitch holding down that center position, understanding that there was no one in the block that could mess with him, can rock with him down low. He took full advantage of the Mitch match. You know, got offensive boards, got defensive boards, putbacks. He did what a big man was supposed to do, and he came through for us. And he also, solidified the paint. Guys weren't able to go to the lane and score at will. So, being the defender that he's capable of being, I think that proved well for us as a unit. To have him on there and being healthy.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the interesting thing about this too is Alec Burks did not shoot well from the field or from three. But it was a weird game because he actually had, numbers wise, a really good night because he had 15 points, 5 assists, and 11 rebounds, which you don't get that too much from
Right.
Alec Burks. So it
Especially from
helped.
the point guard position.
Right. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was weird. And I'm not saying he did good as a point guard necessarily, but things worked out okay.
Right.
It worked out. It worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was that game, man, and so that was got us to a 3-game winning streak. all 3 games pretty much in convincing fashion. So that, as a Knicks fan, you start to feel really good about what's going on
Yeah, we're
going into
feeling
that
ourselves.
Memphis game. Yeah, a little bit. Then you get the Memphis
We're like
Grizzlies,
Memphis.
and
Come
yeah,
on,
we got
son. Memphis. We're talking about Memphis.
Yeah, man, it didn't
We were
didn't
there
turn
though,
out the way we
man.
wanted it to. It
But
was it
we were
was
there
we were
though.
right there. You're right. We were right
Yes,
there with Memphis,
we were right
but
there.
Memphis got that one difference maker that we couldn't
Right.
really slow. We tried to slow him down. We couldn't. Dude's a
Right.
buzzsaw. B. He cut right
Yeah.
through us, man.
Yeah.
Ja Morant was tough.
He's crazy because right before the game, I was thinking, to myself, like, yo, if I was, what's the plan to slow this team down? And in my eyes, it was like, yo, you got to make Ja a perimeter player. You can't allow him the opportunity to drive to the basket and have easy buckets or run out in transition. It's easier said than done with this kid. You know what I mean? Like, he's got so many weapons and so much in his tool bag. And the one thing that takes him over the top this year, more so than years in the past, and he hasn't played that many years in the past, but in years past, is his mid-range game has gotten to another level.
Right.
He's able to hit those mid-range jump shots 15 feet away, and he doesn't have to press for that three-point shot. And he can get to the basket because he's so skilled and very crafty with the ball, and then his leaping ability is off the charts. So it's just it's one of those things, because you look at a kid like that, so small framed, reminds you of Allen Iverson, thin body frame, just and the hops, of a Derrick Rose. It's it's interesting. Yeah, he's a tough player, man.
And I know some of you guys in the chat might be like, "Yo, what no highlights?" Yeah, this week thought it better to just show the positive highlights of us winning and not show the negative highlights this week.
That's
some
right.
weeks we got to show all the
we
highlights.
Ain't got a choice. Sometimes we ain't got a choice.
Yeah, but yeah, man. But Ja was really, like, he was tough. It was a buzzsaw, especially in that fourth quarter when he knew the game was close. He's like, "Yo, I got to do something here." And we tried our best. As I said, Julius Randle played really good down the stretch. This game we lost to the Dallas Mavericks 118-114.
No,
it was
we
really
lost
close
to the Memphis
Grizzlies.
What
did I say? What did I say?
You said to the Mavericks.
My fault. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. I meant to say the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, yeah. So it was tough, man, because Julius tried his best to will us to this victory. I know we've pointed to the fact that we need a point guard on this team, which we do. We've talked about we need a small forward, a wing, a dynamic wing. We do. We need a point guard more, though, but we need a dynamic wing as well. But part of that is also because we've said we need a closer. And a lot of these games, we don't have that person to kind of get us to the finish line. But I will say, in these 3 games, Sacramento, the Mavericks, Memphis, the Knicks did a good job overall at being there in the end to try to close out as a team. So it didn't look as bad. It didn't hurt us as bad. You can't blame Julius. Julius was trying to get buckets down the stretch, and he was. He finished with 36 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists. And I can't be mad at him. He shot 40% from the field, which is not great, but he took a lot of shots, and he was 3 of 6 from the 3-point line, 50%. So once again, you got to give kudos to Julius. This was not his fault while we lost. As a matter of fact, this Memphis game, you could point to a couple plays, right? There was a bad play in which they threw a lob, not a lob, but like a full court pass, half court pass to Ja Morant, in which Burks was kind of caught sleeping. There was another one, same person, to Ja Morant on one of those 3/4 court passes to Ja, and Fournier was caught sleeping. This is in the fourth quarter, in the last couple minutes. Those are big. Those are big mistakes. But outside of those mistakes, everything else was Ja. Ja he wanted it. He was just too aggressive. They couldn't stop him.
Yeah, he wanted it more than we did and at the end of the day, like you said, we got guys who want to be there, who want to be at that, want to take their games to that level, but just haven't gotten there. You know what I mean? As of yet, and haven't gotten there consistently enough to say, "Hey, give me the ball down the stretch. I'm gonna make the right decisions." Because at the end of the day, it's about making those right plays, right decisions, the right play. You know what I mean? Like you got to make the right decision. You have to. It's not. It's less about the IQ because the IQ comes and goes. I mean, it doesn't come and go. It should always be there. But in the end of games, it really shows what you have as far as a mental capacity of the game. Like, is the situation too big for you? Can you slow things
Right.
down? Can you make the right decision? Whether it's you scoring or you making that pass to an open player, and that's really what it's about right now. And for whatever reason, our team, our two key players, which are RJ, leading scorers of the team, RJ and Randall, haven't gotten that consistently enough this year, and we hope that in the future they get it, and hopefully also bring over Cam. I'm really hoping they can ride it out with Cam, and if they stick with Randall, that we have a three-headed, three players on our team that could potentially be the focal point of our offense and moving forward. So we'll see.
I like that. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I hope that's the case. And yeah, and I also want to give credit, even though this is something I noticed, but I want to give credit because it was said on a podcast by Uncle Freezy. And I think maybe D is Bolin as well on the Blorange Tears show, the Nick Morning Drive. They were the ones who were highlighting the fact that those two plays happened in that game. So I want to give them credit for pointing it out. Um,
Right.
and Kaiser Soze has a really good question. We'll come right back to that question, Kaiser. We'll tackle this last game against the Brooklyn Nets, and then we've got some time, so maybe we can come back to some of these questions that people might have in the chat. So if anything you guys got going on
Absolutely.
in the chat, put it in
Send
there.
them our
We'll
way.
try to address it. Yes. So then that brings us to the Brooklyn Nets game, which was another game that I think
Very
we all
good
kind of
game.
had a feeling we might be able, yeah, we might have a chance to win this game because, and I said that prior to knowing that, like Seth Curry wasn't going to be there, because that was
Right.
kind of like a late scratch. So,
Hmm.
after finding out Seth Curry wasn't going to be there, then hearing LaMarcus Aldridge wasn't playing, I'm like, yes, we got to deal with Durant, but like that's kind of what we got to deal with, Durant. So I felt good about
Right.
it. And this game was tough, John. Man, like we won. We wound up losing the game 110 to 107. So it's another close game, and
Right.
it kind of makes you feel a little good about the product. This reminds me of the last year's Knicks because when we won, it could be a close game, but sometimes we had good margins of victory. But when we
Mhm.
lost, we usually lost
Right.
with like 2, 3, 4 points. You know what I mean? So when they're
Right.
playing like that, I love to see it. And in this
Mhm.
case, we lost 110 to 107, and we had obviously no answer for Mr. Kevin Durant. I knew we wouldn't, and I said, my personally feeling, I felt like we should let him get his points. I don't think
Right.
that's going to beat us. I think it's the other things that will beat us. And I think they did it's crazy to say they did a really good job on a team when the guy scored 51 points, but they really did until down the
Right.
stretch. We kind of fell apart a little bit. What do you think about that?
Listen, you nailed it right on the head because that's basically what it was. It was almost as if they weren't worried about Durant scoring the bucket because they knew he was going to score points. I think at the
Mm-hmm.
end, in the fourth quarter, they figured, let's trap him, let's get him out of his game, let's make other players beat us. And they consistently went back to Durant. And for whatever reason, he found his space and he hit clutch shots. I mean, that's what he does. But he hit clutch shots down the end. But I want to give credit where credit is due. Think about the last 6 games that the Knicks have been playing. We played great basketball. I want to say really competitive basketball. Outside of the losses to the 76ers, where we had the back-to-back games against them, we had
Mm-hmm.
competitive games that we watched the last 6 times that we watched them play. I think after the 76ers, we faced the Phoenix Suns. We played them close. Even though they didn't have Booker,
Right.
didn't have Chris Paul, we still played them really close. We didn't get the win.
Mm-hmm.
We end up, and then we went into that winning streak, right? And then we lost the last
Mm-hmm.
two. So you can't be mad at the way the team is playing right now. You got to be excited that they're finally gelling as a team. It's taken them way too long, but they're finally getting some sort of camaraderie around their offense and defense.
That's a good
And
point.
everybody's coming to play. And you're gonna have stinkers. You're gonna have some days where Burks ain't got it and he looks horrible, and you're gonna have days where Fournier ain't got it and he looks horrible. We've been um, consistently consistently this year we've been not a full team, right? Like we haven't been a full team this entire season. I don't think there's been a game where we had every player healthy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've been without, you know, Rose for most of the season and Noel for most of the season. We Toppin just got back. Now we lose Cam. So it's very inconsistent with the health on our team,
It's
and we were
always
one of the
something.
healthiest teams
Always
last
something.
year. So
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah,
but again,
you're right. It's
we'll
always
see.
something.
But I get I'm just gonna go with the good right now, and I'm enjoying what I'm watching. I don't mind watching a game where we lose a close game because I could see the growth and the potential
Mm-hmm.
that could be potentially that could be there in the future. Um, but again, we're gonna go as far as we can go with this team, and there has to be some moves in the off season in order for us to get better.
I'm with you on that, man. They need to figure out something. I'm a little worried because I think we might be very cash strapped. So it might be very tough. They have to get real creative in order to. But this is where you earn your money, right? This is why we brought this
Yeah.
front office in. If they can't do it,
But
then
well,
someone else is going to
this
have
is
to.
when they reach out to our homie, Uncle Fulio, so he could figure it out for us because this entire season he spoke about us not being cash strapped and being having assets to send other teams. For me, it's just a matter of what teams are willing to make deals with us at this point. You know what I mean? Did we
Hmm.
absorb? Did we absorb players that other teams do not want? That's the question. We haven't paid Mitch. We're gonna have to, we offered them something minuscule. He turned it down. So where are we at now? You know what I mean? Now he's up for grabs,
I
and now you're
mean
gonna have to
that
outbid other teams.
that
It's just
was.
what
I
it
mean,
is.
I understand it. You got to do that as a business, but the Knicks were looking for the homeboy discount on that one. Like, I mean,
That's dumb, though.
uh, yeah,
That's
I don't
dumb.
know,
You didn't give the kid an opportunity when when he asked for that opportunity. Like he literally was waiting for you to give him a little bonus in order to show good faith, and you never did it. You could call it what it is. You could say, "Hey, that was a different front office at the time." Doesn't matter. It's
man.
still the Knicks organization. Still the same organization. That's
That's true.
So at this
Yeah, they
point,
they
he's
definitely.
gonna hit the market, and the market's gonna the market rises with players like Mitchell because they know what they're up against. They know New York is going to be, is going to want to keep him, so they're going to overbid him.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't get too crazy, and the Knicks have a chance to re-sign him. Um, we'll see, man. I'm really right now. I'm like I was probably 90% that Mitch was going to leave. I'm probably
Mhm.
more like 70% now. There's 30% of me that says he still wants to be here. There's a chance, but I still
Right.
feel like, as a young guy, knowing that this Nick team is not, we're a little far away, still got to make some moves. And if they are cash strapped and his agent is looking at what they got going on, maybe he's saying, do you want to continue with this situation or do you want to go to another situation where you might be in a better organization, better winning, or a better situation for yourself, maybe a bigger focal point in the offense.
That's the biggest
It's
one for
tough.
me. That's that's the
Yeah.
biggest one for a young player. You're going to look at your opportunities. You know what I mean? And as a center in today's NBA, you aren't given that many opportunities to make big money, and the only way to do it is to showcase your talents. And if he feels in any way, shape, or form that he's capable of putting up bigger numbers, of being a part of or focal point of the offense, then he's going to want to look elsewhere. And he shouldn't. He has every right to. Um, I just think that, like, he's one of those players that you haven't seen what he could potentially become. You know what I mean? Given the time, and if he puts in that, the effort um, to learn and to build his craft, yeah, he could possibly be one of the toughest players to defend because of his length and his size and his ability to run up and down the court. But you know that takes practice. I mean, we've seen one handoff, dribble, dunk this entire season. We had that one highlight where he actually put it on the floor, and we haven't seen it yet again because he's just not a part of the scheme. It's sad.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is, especially the fact that I mean, if ever he deserves a little bit more of a leash on the offensive side of the ball, it's right now. Like, he's playing his heart out, man. He's been doing a lot for this team lately.
Right.
So, hey, like, it is what it is, man. I think we need Mitch. I think without Mitch, this team is going to have to really figure out what they're doing because
Oh yeah.
because you don't want to be stuck with Nerlens Noel. Mitch is gone. Then you got
Oh,
just Nerlens and Jericho. That's not.
it's not gonna work.
I don't mind Jericho, but Jericho's not ready to be a starter. So that means you got. Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want
He's
that.
also undersized. He's an undersized center. He's a center in a forward's body. He's 6'9", if that.
Mm-hmm.
He's just
Right.
very strong for
Right.
his size, but he's not a center. He's not a typical center. I should say that, because there are some centers who are, I think Drummond's probably like 6'9" or 6'10". But again, with that frame, you got to look at the frame and sort of how they played I just don't know. I don't see Sims as being a perennial center in the NBA. I see him as a solid backup. You know what I mean? Um, as much talent as he brings, he's got a lot of athleticism. I don't see him as a starter. Um, but then, yeah, the Knicks are going to have to look elsewhere. If we go with Noel as a starter, man, that's going to look sloppy. He'll give you good stuff on defense, but there's no offense to this game. It's,
There's I don't
it's no
I want to
lobs.
say
He
that
ain't catching no lobs.
there's not too many mistakes that the Knicks made. I don't think Fournier's a mistake. I don't think it's worked out in the way they wish it would have. And I think we found out that he's much more. I mean, people can say what they want. Look, I know Fournier's not a great defender. Once again,
Mhm.
I'm gonna say this. I didn't realize how much of a liability he is in the defensive area of the
Right.
ball. I think he was hidden and disguised very well at his other destinations. Kimba is a mistake. I'll say that flat out. I'm sorry if there's anybody who loves Kimba who disagrees. Kimba was a bad move for this Knick team at this time. Nerlens Noel was a mistake. Alec Burks is not a mistake, but it didn't work out the way they intended. I think, while at the time when they decided between Burks and Bullock, I agreed with Burks. And in the end, I still think Burks is the better overall player, but that doesn't mean that he's the type of player you need on this team. It's like the
Right.
choice between these two. I'll take this guy because he can score a little bit, plays a little bit of defense. But I don't know if that's who the Knicks need on this team right now. So there's a lot of that going on, and because of that, we're in the situation.
Yeah. I don't know. I was I don't know what's the right terminology to say, but I was all in. I believed that I believed in Kemba more than I did Peyton. Even though he was injured,
Mm-hmm.
I knew he was coming off an injury, but I still felt like he can bring a scoring punch that we needed. I didn't think that the addition of Fournier and Kemba was going to be that dire defensively. You know what I mean? I didn't think we were going to run a risk of losing as many games, if not more, with those two on the court. I
Right.
personally think they were used wrong. You know what I mean? To
Mm-hmm.
begin with, I think just the idea of running the offense through Randall when you have Kemba Walker as a primary point guard, potential facilitator, scorer, who could handle the rock and handle that position. I thought the ball should have run through him and allow him to dictate where the offense goes. Um, and would he hold up? I don't know. I don't think he should have been playing, 30 plus minutes. I think they should have cut him at 20, 22. I just think he was handled wrong, personally. And then
I can agree with
Fournier
that.
also, mixed in, not knowing what his role was with the team, just having him, to begin the season as just a corner pocket shooter is not his thing. He likes to pick and roll. He likes to move off the ball, pick and pop. You have to use him through his strengths, and I don't think Tibbs did that. So I just think like there was a mixture of Tibbs using them wrong, the players that he acquired wrong, whether he wanted them
Mm-hmm.
here or not. And to add on to the mess, we weren't doing too poorly. I think we were still like 500, if not maybe a game over 500 with Kemba in the lineup. And as soon as he
Mm-hmm.
removed Kemba from the lineup, we took a downhill. We spiraled the opposite direction. So some of that decision, although granted, it was probably the right decision to make. I think it was poor timing,
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
decision making by the front office.
And even though I agree, I think it was the right move to make. You put yourself in a position where you had to make that move. Then you affect the chemistry of the team. Like,
Right.
it becomes a negative. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't, it was probably the right move. But once you do it, now all the guys are like, yo, I mean, Kimba's a great guy. Now it's like, it was all bad. Yeah, it was
Right.
tough. It was tough.
Yeah, and that's
And
that's the
so,
toughest part about about New York, right? You can't make sometimes making the right decision isn't the right thing for the organization, right? Like sometimes you have to look
right.
at it with the bigger scope and see where you're at and say, this is New York. If I make this decision, this is the consequence. And you got to
Mm-hmm.
pull that into, into the discussion, especially when you're talking coaching and front office. And then the decision to bring in a Cam without opening the opportunities for him to play is also poor decision. You know what I mean? You can't bring a kid like that in, even though he needs time to understand the playbook. You can't allow for that kid to just come in and just be, predicated to the bench. And it's like, well, and then the only time he gets burned is when someone gets injured. That doesn't make any sense.
That's a
You
good
know what I
point.
mean? So it's just inconsistent uh inconsistencies and just bad decisions, and we have to make better ones moving on in the future. So if Tibbs, you're gonna ride this thing out for the 10 year of your contract, pay closer attention to your players, man. Know who you have on your bench. Don't be afraid to use them. You're gonna have some new kids coming in after this year's draft. Like really be mindful. Be mindful of the players that you have and the players that you're bringing back, because this got to be better next year.
Agreed. Agreed. In the chat, D-Raz said the Knicks, we are a work in progress from top to bottom and inside and out. Ain't that the truth?
Right about that.
Ain't that the truth? Boy. Um, ooh, ooh, interesting. I don't know if that's true. I would have to, but you got me curious. So maybe not right now during this show, but it's something I'll probably look at and maybe I'll comment on it for Saturday's show. Keith Turner said, one thing I will give Randall, he's more consistent than RJ. Ooh, I'm going to have to double check that.
Mm,
That's interesting.
this
Interesting.
year
Because
though,
we're talking, that's interesting. That's an interesting one. Because we're talking about two players that have both had moments of inconsistency. Just this is about who's
right?
who's less inconsistent, right?
Inconsistent.
So,
Yes, you have to look at the numbers.
yeah, Kaiser Soze says Randall is the Westbrook of power forwards, a low IQ player that hunts stats but doesn't contribute to winning basketball. Oof. It's rough. It's rough. I want to say that it, as I've said before, I think some of these guys in this team have been exposed a little bit, but they've been exposed because of the way this roster has been orchestrated, how it's been put together. If we would have had a solid point guard here right now, some of the mishaps and some of the plays that Julius doesn't make, because quite frankly, he shouldn't be in that specific position, would not happen, and he would be looked at as a much better, much more productive player overall. You put him in a position where he carries the ball, he has the ball in his hands a lot more than he should, especially down the stretch, especially when the team on the opposite end is trying to get the ball out of his hands and trapping him and doing other things, and then he gets flustered. Certain things happen at the worst possible time. A true point guard would definitely alleviate a lot of that. With not just him, with RJ, with a lot of guys. Mitch, his game would be a lot better if a point guard was here, getting him lobs, doing the pick and roll, getting him, different opportunities. It's a huge difference, man.
It's key, but also think about that first game against the first 5 games of the season, playing off of Kemba. Because really, they did a lot more playing off of Kemba than they did after those first 4 games. I would say that first 4 games, it was a lot of pick and roll off of Kemba, allowing Kemba to be the distributor. And then for whatever reason, Tibbs decided to go back to Randall being the focal point of the offense and playing that point forward that he likes to announce to everyone that Randall is. And Randall has the capabilities of doing those things, but not in a consistent enough way that you can live and die off of. You know what I mean? Like you could just say, hey, the ball's in your hands. You make the right decisions game in and game out. Like, he's just not that kind of player, at least not yet. I think you can give it to him in spurts and in moments, and he can provide that. But he needs a 1-2 to bounce off of. He needs another player to take a lot of the focus away from him, because he's better when he's against a one-on-one matchup. He just is. And you see it in this game. When he's matched up one-on-one, it's hard for another player to defend against him, especially when other guys are clicking and they're hitting from the perimeter, or you got RJ also, scoring buckets on the opposite end. So I don't know, man. I think a part has to do with the way Tibbs formulated his scheme this year. It didn't pan out. And he isn't the type of coach that can quickly adjust. And I'll point to Udoka. Think about what Udoka did in Boston. He called them out. He called them out for their lack of defense. You know what I mean? And then not only that, he held them accountable, and then he placed the ownership to his key players, Tatum, Brown, and Smart. And then he utilized Horford as sort of like that father figure. Say, hey guys, let's get it together. You know what I mean? Like, allowing the players to work that out amongst themselves was key. And he put them in better positions to succeed in the way he started changing the offense and changing their scheme offensively. Because in the beginning of the season, they were going through Brown. You know what I mean? And Jason Tatum was sort of the back seat to Brown. And then he flipped it, and it was like, all right, let's give you the opportunity to take the reign, and you see where they're gone. You know what I mean? Everybody's riding with him. And I don't think we did the same thing. He wasn't, Tibbs hasn't been able to adjust that way. He actually adjusted it at the back end after the All-Star break. Then we started seeing RJ get the ball.
Agreed. And I'm gonna just want to echo your sentiments with regards to how we played to start the season, going through Kemba, which I don't think was the wrong move. I think the problem with that is you're going through a guy who's such a liability on the other side of the court, and the other team started to expose that consistently, and we had no answer for it. So maybe you say, I'm not saying Tibbs is a miracle worker, but maybe there was a way to run a different defensive scheme where their perimeter oriented 3-point shot scheme that Tibbs likes to run, where he wants the opposing team to take long 3-point shots and all that stuff. You put yourself in a tough spot, because once the ball's in the middle of the court and Kimba is looking down on defense, and you're like, it's I don't know what they could have done outside of, but I do like the fact that they were able to use Kimba on the offensive end. The pick and roll thing was working well. It's just maybe he just wasn't the right fit, because he's such a liability on defense. But you know, and we've talked about this all year. The Knicks have not used their players at all in the right ways. The only person whose scheme, I guess, sort of fit him was Randall, because that's what Tibbs did with him last year. But he wasn't even using RJ in the right way. Like, the way he's using RJ now is not how he was using RJ in the beginning of the season. So, yeah.
Which, do you take that long to make a decision like that? That's just bad decision making by Tibbs. It's like,
I don't know.
It comes a point in time where you have to read the room. You have to read what's happening on the court, and you wasn't reading it properly for whatever reason. He wasn't reading the situation properly, and not only that, Tibbs has this thing where he starts with 5 players. He wants to end with the same 5 players. Like, it takes him way too long to understand that this player ain't got it. Let's not have him end the game. You know what I mean? And I think that is mostly part to certain guys that he trusts weren't available to him. You know what I mean? Once Rose went out, he didn't know who to go to. You know what I mean? It's like you're forcing his hand. You know what I mean? Taj gets injured, you don't know who to go to. It's like, come on, man, get these guys a chance. They're in the NBA for a reason, and you should have been seeing them every day in practice, so you should know what they bring. It's just unfortunate.
It's frustrating. Let me just shout out a couple more people, then we'll get to a couple more things that you guys put in the chat, and then just jump into our predictions from last weekend and this week going forward. Salute to Marvin S. I see you. Good to see you, Marvin. Thank you for joining up. Brother BKL is in the building. What's going on, bro? Dripmore. What's going on, Dripmore? Quality Jumper is here, man. Good to see you. I think I already mentioned Angel Torres from earlier. But once again, Angel Torres, good to see you. Knicks for Life is in the building. My man Chuck, what's going on, bro? Good to see you. And definitely good job with your show with Uncle Freezy. If you guys haven't tuned in, check out Knicks for Life, Mr. Chuck Allen. Vibes and stuff, man. It comes on early in the morning, 8 a.m. So, you know, if you got a little late start to the day, while you brushing your teeth, getting your coffee on, getting dressed, you listen to that in the background, get you right for your day. Or if you are early guy and you already or early gal, no offense, and you're already at the office, kind of just really unwinding, want to listen to something in the background, then click on the Vibes and stuff, man. Definitely check them out. Vibes and stuff. It's you know, it's a nice, you know, I think it's kind of like, you know how you listen to Monday morning radio? Well, this is every day, 5 days a week. So it's pretty cool. Definitely check that out, man. Yeah, so I wanted to get back to Kaiser Soze's question, because I didn't forget, Kaiser. You had mentioned, what could we do as far as a point guard? Who could we bring in that makes, you know, I think you're talking realistically, like not just, you know, all wishful thinking. We want Donovan Mitchell. We want DeJounte Murray. Like, who could we really bring in? I don't know, John, who do you think that if you had a choice of somebody who we could actually target that realistically we might be able to go get? Personally, I don't love this guy because I think he's a little offensively challenged. He can score, but I just think he struggles a little bit with it. But I like the rest of his game. I like him on the defensive end. He's pretty scrappy. And he, as far as passing and being a facilitator, I think he's really good. And I think at this point, you know, they may have a chance to win a championship this year. If they get the ring, great. If they don't, there's still another opportunity for him to say, well, we didn't get the ring 2 years in a row. Let me move on. But I think we can sell it to him that this will be his team. And that is Cameron Payne from the Phoenix Suns. Cameron Payne is a really good backup. And now that he's been thrust into the starting role, like his assist numbers have gone up 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, I think he's a guy that the Knicks could think about possibly really targeting I mean, he's not like I said, he's not the sexy pick, but he's someone they might be able to actually go out there and get.
Um, I say he's actually a good get if you can get him. I just think Phoenix has him a part of their future. I really think that
It could
Chris
be,
Paul is
could be.
sort of he's on his last legs. Chris Paul, you know what I mean? He's going to
Mm-hmm.
work through his contract, and then they're probably going to move on from him. He'll probably retire, and I think Cameron Payne is going to be the kid who comes right after him. I think he's gonna be a part of
Mm-hmm.
that organization for a little bit of time. I think their plan is to keep him with Booker as they continue their success. Um, I don't know if the point guard for this Knicks team is actually here. You know what I mean? I thought we had a chance to. I thought we had a chance at, you know, potentially stealing someone away from the Sacramento Kings, and unfortunately, that young man Halliburton went to the Pacers, and that is also something that I am not happy with, because again, poor decision making. But I
Mm-hmm.
think there is a future where the Knicks will have their point guard. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that is Deuce. Maybe that is Quickly. Who knows how they will develop in the future? Anything's possible. It is the NBA. The NBA changes. Players get better. Uh, Players have a way of figuring things out. We may have them on the team. We may not. I'm going to lean to we don't have the future point guard, starting point guard to this team yet. I think that player's coming. It may not be in this year's draft. It may be 2 or 3 years down the line. Um, but I just think we'd have to be more consistent as a team, regardless if we have our future point guard or we don't. I think we just have to build on the people that we have, and then hope that we can hit lightning in a bottle. And one of our players that we have on this roster steps it up and starts to, really showcase their game and showcase that they're, can become a potential all star year to year. So um, we know what we get from Randall, and it is quality. Um, yes, there's stubbornness there. There's deficiencies in his game, more mental than physical. But I think
Mm-hmm.
he can continually be a solid second to third option if we keep him. I want us to move in the direction of placing RJ sort of the lead, and hopefully if Cam sticks around and they keep Cam, build with Cam and see if they can work out a 1-2 punch with him and Cam, RJ and Cam as a 1-2 punch and working off of Randall. Because I would love to see those three in sort of pick and roll situations.
Right.
Allowing them to work off the pick and roll. They're, I would say all three of them are solid passes. And they can work with each other. But to see Randall, picking and rolling to the basket, that'll be a very, very difficult defend, to try to get him defended when he's coming off a pick and roll and getting a pass from Cam or RJ. Like, I could see them, working that magic. The one thing I do want to say, though, if we move away from Mitch this year and we
Mm-hmm.
don't, we lose him, the Knicks should go after a center that's going to stretch the floor. We have to go after a center
Agreed.
that's going to stretch the floor. You know what I mean? To open up to send up, that area where Randall works best from. So maybe we go chase an Olenek, someone who isn't going to ask for a ton of money, but someone who can be consistent from 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 the perimeter and can rebound the ball really well. So maybe we
Right.
go in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a possibility. Or maybe, maybe the answer's in the draft. If we lose
That too.
Mitch, I'm saying,
If
because
we
there's
lose
there's
Mitch, yeah,
some good bigs in the draft.
right.
We'll see. We'll see. I wanted to real quick just highlight brother BKL said give credit to Jericho Sims with the 20 points. I think you mean the plus minus, because he was a 20-point
Mhm.
plus minus in the last game against
Right.
Brooklyn, which I will say that's probably the best we've ever seen Jericho Sims in a Knick uniform, because he had 10 rebounds and he gave us 6 points. on 3 of 3 shooting. Jericho never even attempts to take a shot, and he gave us 6 points. So I will say Jericho played a pretty damn good game. Good for him.
I love the kid's energy.
Yeah, it was nice to see. So definitely salute to him. Good job, Jericho. Hope to see more of him. And I thought it was a mistake in the Memphis game that Tibbs went away from him and went away from Deuce. In the Memphis game, Tibbs played Jericho Sims 10 minutes. And we were in foul trouble. Our bigs were in foul trouble, and he still only played him 10 minutes. In the Memphis game, he played Deuce 5.5 minutes. I mean, come on. All the other games prior, he was giving them both 15, 16, 17 minutes. Now he decided in that game, I think because we were on a little win streak, he kind of fell back into his usual Tibbs stuff.
Always.
Yeah. So that was, I think that was a mistake.
I heard you, I think he was on NBK, and you were speaking about the play in which Ja backed up McBride and scored on him, and then sort of bully balled him or whatever, right? I don't know if it was in the NBK or was it Blorange Tears?
Yeah.
It was NBK.
I think it was NBK. I don't know.
Yeah, and I was like, I totally agree with exactly what you were saying, because there's no reason why, like, if I'm the coach, I want McBride to get an opportunity to go back at him, and also to get an opportunity to get another defensive stop, because that's the only way he can prove to Ja that he ain't going nowhere. And what you do, you remove him from the game, and that doesn't do anything for your team. It doesn't do absolutely nothing for your team, because now you're not only are you a liability still, because ain't nobody was stopping Ja that game. It wasn't like you could put anyone, Burks, back on him and he's going to stop him. He wasn't doing it. So keep him in there. Let him rough through it. And now if he gets backed up 3 or 4 more times, then you're like, all right, kid, you ain't got it today. Like this, I don't want to embarrass you anymore. But at that point, you didn't even give him a shot to come back at him. You don't think that was making him, like, as a player?
I didn't like that, bro. I didn't like that, bro. That's like, yo, that if I was a player, that would have. I'll be like kicking my chair.
Heated.
Not after that, B. Not Ja was balking in this. Nah, B. Not after that one. You can't take me out.
You gotta give me another spot. Yeah, you gotta give me another spot right there. Because then he was left on an island too. That was the thing. He was left on an island alone, and Ja, you know what I mean. As quick as he can, you got to make a quick decision. He got in front of him, but he didn't have the right balance.
Now maybe Tibbs saw it in coach speak. I don't agree with it. Maybe Tibbs said, well, one, we're not stopping this kid, and he's coming at you. Like, if you're the challenge, maybe you were giving him that extra oomph. I don't think that's the case.
Nah. That was poor decision by Tibbs to pull that young man. Because McBride has that football grit. It's different. It's different. When you play football, it's different. You don't just back down. You may get a lick, and you may get taken once, but you want to come back at that guy. You know what I mean? It's similar to boxing when it comes to football. You're not like, I'm willing to to get hit in order to get mine off. You know what I mean? So it's different. It's different. I didn't agree.
Yeah, so
but I was right with you, bro.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way, because when I saw that, I was hot. As a player, as a person who is competitive and has played basketball, when I saw that, I was like, "Ooh, don't take me out here! Come on, man!" Yeah, that was rough.
And I would say you were your best of you when you got frustrated, when you got
That's
into
true.
like. When people got physical with you, and then you was like, okay, now you bringing it. So you were definitely better when you played angry.
Sometimes I talk like that about Obi. Like, I say, I wish Obi would play with that anger. Like, sometimes I just want Obi to attack the rim. I want Obi to say, yeah, if your hand is there, it's going to get broke. Like, I want Obi to be like mad and really go at it, because, and maybe that's how I played. Sometimes I was a little lackadaisical when it came to the game, but when people started to get in my face and got me a little upset, then my game kind of changed around. So I just want to see a little of that grit from Obi. And if I ever saw that from Jericho Sims, I know Jericho Sims is going to be a monster if he ever gets that anger. But I don't think his personality is that way. But it would be nice to see once in a blue.
if Sims gets out of pocket, he may turn into the Tasmanian devil, bro. Like he may not even want
Right.
that to even happen.
Right. We may
That
not be
kid
able to
is so
control that
somber,
dude. They may
man.
have to get him out of
I'm
here.
telling you.
Anyway, yeah, man. Thanks, guys, for adding that stuff to the chat, giving us something to really talk about. And Kaiser Soze, I'm with you. I actually posed that earlier on Blorange Tears when we were talking about, is there somebody out there that could help the team? That I thought that is someone that you don't necessarily, he's not on everybody's radar, even though he probably is. Jordan Poole from Golden State, being that they still have Curry, they still got Clay, they still got Draymond. If you could, and they got young guys like Wiseman. Don't get me wrong, Kuminga. I don't think they want to get rid of Poole, but they might be a team that's willing to deal because they got so much talent over there. They might be able to let Jordan Poole go for the right price because Jordan Poole is dynamic. I mean, this guy, last games, 30, 21, 20, 32, 23, 23. Like, and he's not even the focal point over there. I like Jordan Poole. I would definitely love him on the Knicks.
They have a lot of really quality players out there, and the Warriors. you gotta.
Yeah, they do. They're good.
Man.
Yeah, man. So I think now it's time to get into these predictions and see how we did last week and predict what we're going to predict for this week coming up. Yeah, I think we're ready.
Yeah, man. I'm ready.
Oh, they're happy we're ready.
How you doing, gentlemen?
What's going on?
What's good, Jose?
How y'all doing? How's your weekend?
Not too bad. Hanging in there, bro. How was yours?
It was good, I really enjoyed today. I got to drink an iced coffee. I couldn't do that past few days. It's too cold to be drinking iced coffee.
I got you. Yeah. We're getting that nice the nice temps is starting to happen. Yeah, I like it.
So, question, gentlemen. You want to do predictions, or do you want to see who is the king of predictions?
Well, I think you might have done some polls. So why don't we knock out the king of predictions from last week, and then we'll jump into the polls stuff, and then we'll do our predictions for this coming week.
Okay, you're asking too much of me, but you know what?
A little bit.
It's your show. All right. Let's see who is the king of predictions of last week. We had 4 games, all away games. 2 wins and 2 losses. Both Ron and John predicted differently. So the question is, ladies and gentlemen, to everyone who's watching us right now, live or post, who is this week's king of prediction? Sorry, wrong button.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought when I started doing that, you already letting me know who's the man. You know what I mean? No,
not this time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your king of predictions of last week is, wait for it, make some noise for Mr. John.
Oh, it's me again. Oh, yes. Let's go. Oh, it's my dance music.
Congratulations. Out of the 4 games of last week, John, you actually predicted 3 of them perfectly with the right results.
3, baby.
Ron, you know what?
Coming
you
for
actually
that title
would have been
this year.
tied if you had a little bit more faith. But it's okay.
There's a little faith. Telling you.
Yeah.
Gotta believe.
But listen.
Gotta believe.
Nobody cares about that anymore. Hope you enjoyed that moment. But the moment has passed.
It has.
Now it's time to see who will be the king of predictions for next week. So this is how we're going to do it. we're gonna begin to reveal the games coming up. I want you gentlemen to just take a look at the next 3 games. So, fun fact: the next 3 games will actually be home games, which
we play so well at home.
Yes, based on our history, exactly.
Oh, you kill me.
Gotta love the sarcasm, don't you?
Oh, man.
But as you said, Ron, I did have some polls up there today. And yeah, so while you guys are looking at this list of the next 3 games, I'm going to reveal what the fans think.
Nice.
So starting with the Trailblazers versus the Knicks. 75% of our fans say that the Knicks will win, with 25 saying that the Trailblazer will win.
I agree.
Okay. Moving on to the Knicks, Wizards versus the Knicks. 71% said that the Knicks will win, with 28% saying that the Wizards will win. So, good numbers.
Very good. Very good.
And last but not least, gentlemen, 66% said that the Knicks will win, with the last 33% saying that the Jazz will win. Believe it or not, and here's a fun fact. Right before I closed out this poll, because I had all these polls up for like a minute and 30 seconds. Right before I closed out this specific poll, the Knicks versus the Jazz, it was actually 50-50.
Wow.
So a few more fans just snuck in there with, their vote.
Wow,
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Very optimistic group we have here.
Optimistic. I see what you did there. You just elongated optimistic. That's all he did there. He didn't really do anything too crazy. I just like that he did it. Okay, sorry. So who goes first?
You, my friend.
Yes, sir. All right. Win.
For real?
Yep. Win.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So wait, before I even write that down, Ron, are you saying that, is that what you was going to predict regardless, or are you going with the fans today?
No. Oh, yeah, no, I'm going with the fans. Yeah, what they're feeling is what I'm feeling. I wasn't feeling that automatically on my own. I'm going with you guys.
Okay. Now, before we
That's
move
why he
on
makes
to John,
the big bucks.
Hold up. So, Ron, since this is, you're going with the fans and you believe in their heart and their faith, how about we lock this in right now before John even says his...
Lock it in. Lock it in, buddy.
Ooh, confidence.
Wow. Lots of confidence there. Okay. John.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Man, I really want to ride with my, with the squad, I really want to ride with the fans. I always do that. I'm regularly, that's my thing, but Ron went first today and he was able to take that away from me. So I guess I'm gonna, I could play this a couple of different ways, right? I can say I'm gonna go with the fans, right? And continue this win streak that I'm on. Or shift it up and take the loss in one of these. I don't think the Knicks are going to lose any of these, to be honest with you. But I'll say if there is a team that they'll lose against, it will be the Jazz. So let's go win-win-loss.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
Hey, sorry to the fans.
Bones.
I'm sorry to the chat, I want to say, because, I usually rock with you guys, but Ron took that away from me today. So I've got to let him live. Gotta let the boss man live.
So do you want to lock it in?
Yeah, let's lock it in.
All right,
here we
gentlemen.
go.
I want everyone in the chat to take a picture of this scoreboard right now. Because listen, guys, every week is fun seeing you two go against each other. I mean, John, remember in the beginning of the season when Ron was losing so much that he had to bring up a game? The 24-second trivia?
Right. I remember that.
Remember that? And then all of a sudden, Ron just came and started whipping you. He was beating you week after week after that.
Oh, yeah. Talk about that, Jose.
You shifted
Yeah,
it on me.
right.
Don't call it a comeback. I've
Here's
been
the
on
thing,
my
gentlemen.
LL Cool J.
These weekly wins are cool. They make you feel good for the brief 5 seconds that I play some techno music for you.
True.
But we really need to see who is the king of prediction by the end of this season.
That's right.
So if I'm doing my math right, and looking at the schedule properly, I feel like how many games we got left so far?
I think it might be like
we got
14,
about 15
right?
games. 15, I think. Maybe 15. I think it's 15.
So we almost about 3 weeks away from revealing who is the king of predictions for this entire season.
I know. So I got to get these wins.
And do you remember what happens to the loser?
Oh, they got to buy a steak dinner.
Yeah. So with that being said, gentlemen,
yeah, man.
Take care. I'm out. I'll see you next week.
The drama.
Oh man.
Yeah. I heard Peter Luger's back.
I'm not worried either way, because I'm gonna go on the streak of you never seen a streak like this in these next couple of weeks. Come on, baby.
Amen. I heard Peter
Plus,
Luger's open
if
again.
I lose, I hope John likes Tad Steaks, because
they're closed, bro.
And they no longer exist.
I hope you like it. I'll find one. I'll find one.
Hey, that $23.99 deal was always amazing. I won't.
Man, it was.
Yo, man, listen. Let me tell you something.
That and little
A1 sauce makes everything taste good, B.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Appreciate y'all. I see Hard Wills in the chat. Alton Lee's here. Hewlett Samuel, aka Wadad Lee. You know what I'm saying? That's a little inside joke between me and him. I said his name wrong in the past, but I got it right now. Yeah, man. He's in the building. D'Angelo's in the building. The Queen's Court is in the building. What's going on, Steph? Great show. I was trying to watch some of it, but I was trying to record too, so you know how it is. But I appreciate you. I'll watch the replay. You know how it is. Definitely, guys. If you haven't checked it out, check out the Queen's Court. Her show came on at 8:30 tonight, so you can watch. If you're over here, go after this. Go watch the replay of her show and check her joint out. It was good. I think she had Savvy, Tony Crow, and the Podfather Sim on it. So always fun. Yeah.
Also for Hard Will and those guys, they had their show on today too tonight.
That's
so they
right.
Probably just ended
Monday's always crazy.
For our love of the game, right? So check them out as well. Check out their replay. If you haven't already subscribe to their channel. You know what I mean? Everyone that joins our group that's a part of this podcasting family of ours, definitely does good content. So definitely support.
Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate Hard Will. My man, Project Heck. Project Nerd, aka Hector, as well as Worldwide L. They got a good show over there. Also, salute to A Train is in the building, and I also see Julian Blum is here. What's going on, Julian? Yeah, man. So I thank you guys for tuning in as always. I see. Looks like Jose put up a poll. So y'all could put in. I'll give it a little time while we're going through our goodbyes and our pleasantries. Y'all could vote in the poll. So hey, man, what's your final words, John? Anything you got?
As always, stay blessed, and I'll look forward to seeing you all next week. And tune in to I'll Still Knicks Fans Know the Ledge with our guy Ron, who usually holds it down. If I'm available, I will try my best to show up. Most times than not, I am not, unfortunately. But you hold it down for both of us, bro. And you do a great job at it. So continue to do the great work, man.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. So while you guys are still voting in the poll, I'll give you a little time because I do actually have some stuff to say real quick. First off, as always, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. The chat, you keep us going. You give us that energy. You give us great stuff to talk about. Definitely. We appreciate y'all. Y'all are the fourth member of our trio. You are we're now quadruplets. So thank you guys to the chat. Appreciate y'all. And I also want to reiterate this again. Hopefully, you guys who are members. I'm sure to say members, subscribers, saw what I put in the community tab. For those who are just tuning in that may not be a subscriber, we were supposed to have a show where we interviewed Miss Tykira Carter from the Westchester Knicks. Unfortunately, not due to her. She did a great interview with me. I have it. I hope to be able to air it some other time. If not, we might have to revisit it and do another interview, depending on how long this takes. But unfortunately, because of protocols, the Knicks organization, they need to vet everything that comes out with people that are involved in their organization. So the questions, all that stuff has to be run by them. So hopefully we'll be able to get that done, and then we can air the interview. If not, like I said, she's willing to do another interview at a later time. So I was a little bummed out about that, but I just want you guys all to know that she was great. She was gracious. She gave me a really good interview. So we're hoping to get that up. If not, maybe we can revisit it in the future. So thank you to Tykira Carter. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely. And thank you guys once again. Please comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knicks fans is in the building once again. Ooh. I might have just added a new slogan, folks. But okay,
there
anyway.
You go.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys as always. And before we get out of here, I think we might have some results for the poll that Jose put up.
Okay.
Well, we got a couple votes. I mean, looks like 8 people are have voted. So we'll see what they have to say.
What's the poll?
Who's gonna be who is gonna be the king of prediction?
Okay.
Ron or
by the
John?
End of the season or this week? For this week?
It's for the season.
For the season.
Oh,
that's definitely me.
Oh. I got a tough hurdle to climb, man.
2% the fans voted so far that Ron will be the king.
Look at
of
you
prediction.
guys. They're just plucking at your heartstrings right now, Ron. You see what happens when you root for them?
Really?
See what happens when you go on the side of the fans? They got your back.
I appreciate all y'all. And listen, all the ones that voted for me, all I need you to do is, look, the show has a Cash App. Send some of that money. I'm going to need that for the steak dinner.
Support your man, Ron.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I don't know. It's looking kind of bleak, guys. I don't know if my memory serves me right. But anyway, thank you guys once again for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Definitely check us out. Let me see, guys. Let me see, because I would like to give you the accurate for the actual and factual. We should be on the NBA report later in the week. The Knicks have a game on Wednesday. So you'll see us on Thursday night at 8 on the Nothing But Knicks network.
Caveat.
So definitely tune in. Oh,
here's a caveat. I have some things happening on the 17th, unfortunately. So let's circle back at the end of this show, and we'll work out some of those details. But I do have some personal things I'm gonna have to attend to on the 17th.
Okay. Well, we'll see what we can do. If we can make it happen, guys, we'll make it happen. If not, you understand why. Real life happens, right, man. We try to bring you the content, but let's not forget stuff happens. So, but
appreciate everyone for tuning in.
And I might have a caveat too on next Saturday's Know the Ledge. So could be a tough week for Nick fans content, but we'll see. We'll see, guys. We'll see.
We'll get back around.
Anyway, thank you. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you as always. We'll catch you on the next one. And let's go Knicks.
Let's go.
Oh, and also don't forget Jose on the 1s and 2s. My fault, Jose. I got a little sidetracked.
Let's end it on a good note. Let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks. Yes, yeah. We out of here. Thank you for holding us down, Jose.
Peace.